Oh, I don't know why, but sometimes we just need escape. Now Jerry's got his boots on and he's dragging us out and far away. It's a fever.
Kia ora, and welcome to another episode of Tararua Fever. Ki te whakarongo mai koe te Tararua Fever, the podcast that is everything and anything to do with championing the Tararua Ranges. This is episode 12, A Ladder in the Wilderness, and no, it's not for the faint-hearted. Ko Jerry Tokawingwa, I am your host Jerry, the imposter expert who just loves to yarn about tramping in the Tararua Ranges. Ko nei te wānanga, whakamūtanga o te tau. This is the final Tararua Fever episode for the year, and as ever, joining me is Kentos. How are you, bro?
Kia ora, my love. I am good, thank you, Jerry. Stoked to be here. Very excited, and can't believe it's the end of another year.
End of another year. I think, shall we flag early? This will be the last Tararua Fever episode of the year, but we're planning on fitting in one more scroggin.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Just a little Christmas present for you all.
Well, we've got a bit of a busy episode, but I do want to be upfront as well. There's no walk and talk for this episode. There's no interview. I actually hadn't sorted one out. I was stuck between two ideas, and then they both haven't quite worked out.
Yeah.
So damn. But we do have two interviews for our main section today, and that's on the peaks of the Tararua Ranges.
Yes.
Pretty gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
High time we talked about it because it's epic.
Somewhere that I haven't ventured too often, to be honest. I don't think, as you said, Jerry, I don't think we've been to any of those together. I'm a little bit of what's my excuse? my fitness levels have scared me off a little bit in the last couple of years, and that's something that I definitely want to address. I don't think I can co-host this podcast and still be scared of them. So I can always be scared of them, but I just need to try and do some of them.
I must say, I think I did underestimate some of the stuff, or like take it for granted maybe, because there's heaps of gnarly stuff to do on the Tararua Ranges, and I never really, it's not in my head that I hadn't differentiated this from being gnarly. I mean, it definitely is. There's some crazy small peaks that you get across on that trip from about Bridge Peak to Maungahuka Hut, with you just going up that Kapiti Coast side of the Southern Crossing. And these articles online, Finn and I were looking, and like they talk about how just completely nuts it is when there's like hundreds of meters either side of you. And so we hadn't really covered it off. Yeah,
no, totally. And these are the things that I'm like, back in the day, wouldn't have, didn't really worry me. But when your legs are jelly because you're not in good condition, that need to like be confident on your legs and your. So it's definitely something that I need to start actually just like training for, because I'm a bit sick of that barrier, to be honest.
Are there other factors that come into play? Like, we've both got a child each now.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the general scupperers of plans. But no, I don't think it definitely, it's definitely made me more of a risk adverse tramper. But I'm confident that, you can definitely do these safely, and this doesn't have to be a thing not to do. But I think it's a myriad of factors at the moment.
Well, let's get into things. Coming up is the two interviews with Jonty Crane and Travis, my colleague's partner.
Yes, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to hearing both of those stories and being taken along on a couple of adventures.
In my 30 years of tramping, traversing all sorts of terrain and scaling various mountains, including Mount Kilimanjaro where deaths happen frequently, this was by far the most gnarly and nerve-wracking hike I have ever done. If only I'd read that before I did it.
The gnarliness of the Tararua Peaks is underrated. The summits and ridges running from Kaim Hut to Maungahuka Hut are known as the Tararua Peaks, not because they're the highest, but because they're some of the most pinnacly, steep and jagged parts of the Tararua Ranges. The final section, from McIntosh onwards, is especially tough. The combination of exposure to the fierce elements and treacherous terrain make it one of the hardest to navigate safely. The centrepiece of the story is the ladder, fixed to the rock which helps brave trampers on their way. This is the ladder in the wilderness. We're going to follow the stories of two trampers who have taken on the Tararua Peaks and hear their experiences firsthand. First, we hear from Jonty Crane, a tramping podcaster and blogger.
So this was done back in 2020, so it was probably just after the lockdown, and I decided to go into the Tararuas by myself. The plan had really been to do the Southern Crossing, but logistics when you're tramping alone is a bit tricky trying to get from A to B. So I sort of took some bits of the Southern Crossing and turned it into a loop, which I think was a really good loop. Like I have to say, it was an incredible tramp. It was hard. It was 66 kilometres with over 5,000 metres of up and down, a 3-day circuit from Kaitoki.
And what time of year was it, Jonty?
June.
Jeepers.
Well, the thing was, the weather forecast was pretty good. So I was like, right, it's how often do you get good weather forecasts? And I had the time to go and do the hike. So I did it during the week. So weekday in the middle of winter. So I think I saw 2 people in 3 days. Other than that, I was just kind of by myself. So from Kaitoki, that's the closest, obviously, from Wellington in terms of access point into the Tararuas, heading up the Dobson loop track. Nice. And onto the Merchant Ridge track. Now, when I read online, that has a bit of a reputation. It's not the most popular ridge, I would say, in the Tararuas. The bush there is beautiful. We said the views are fantastic from the top. It just always feels like a slog. I think that's what it feels more of a slog than some of the other ridges for some reason. This was an example of the track signage in the Tararuas being a little bit more optimistic than reality. So from the car park, I think it said it was 5 to 7 hours to Alpha Hut, and my own research has suggested it was more like 7 to 9 hours. But I was thinking, well, I'm pretty quick, I'm pretty fit. I reckon I could do it in 5 hours. I'll get there for lunchtime. I'll have my lunch when I get to the hut.
Right.
Well, it took 7 hours, so I didn't get to Alpha Hut until 3 p.m. and I was pretty hungry by that point, because you're like, well, I'm nearly there. I won't, rather than getting everything set up in the bush, it would be much nicer to eat at the hut. So I was pretty tired and hungry by the time I reached Alpha. But I was quite lucky again. I mean, I guess this is the advantage if you go tramping in the middle of the winter midweek. There was nobody else in the hut, so I had the whole hut to myself. And then the next day was beautiful weather. So it started out a stunning sunrise, looking out across the Wairarapa and just heading along the ridges. And I was just like, this is, life doesn't get much better than this. You can see forever. It was the morning light coming up. It was just, very beautiful experience all the way along that kind of dress circle. Headed up to Mount Hector. So that was really cool to see the large cross up on the summit there. I could see I could see the Kapti Island in the distance. And I got to Kaim Hut a much more sensible time for lunch, and it was all good, and I had a nice lunch in Kaim. And then I left Kaim and then started heading further along the ridges towards the Tararua Peaks, which I hadn't really. I think this is one of those. This is one of those tramps which, probably a bit like how you do, to some degree, is I researched it using the topo map. I don't think I really looked at any other sources. I just relied on the topo map, and that has its risks.
Did you do any Googling of the route to Maungahook or anything like that at the time? Did you know to do any or think to do it because it has some sort of reputation or anything like that? Or did you just rely on the map, which is fair enough too. I wouldn't blame that. I
knew nothing. I was like, well, I know it goes from being a track to a route, but it goes along the ridgeline. I'm not going to get lost. It will be fine. So it was a good, especially tramping alone, it was a good lesson in doing a bit more research. Well, I don't want to do too much research because I don't want to see the photos of everything. And I like to come to things new. So there's this trade-off between the new experience versus being completely underprepared for what you're about to do.
Yeah, totally. And I can appreciate that. It may be interesting when you get to a point from, going from everything's fine, just had lunch in Kaim to, oh shit, here we go.
Correct.
The Tararua Peaks don't just demand strength. They demand respect. Every step along those knife-edge ridges is a negotiation with the land, your balance for its mercy, your caution for its passage. Here is our other guest Travis, the partner of a colleague and friend of mine, and another keen tramper describing his trip across the Tararua Peaks.
based here in Christchurch. Moved down around a year and a bit ago. Originally living in Wellington for about five and a half years.
And so in that time, you discovered the Tararua Ranges, I take it?
I did. Yeah, I was one of the few, I guess, or one of many that took advantage of COVID and got out in the park as much as I could. Definitely got the fever and just kept going back for more punishment.
Originally a Canadian tramper, I asked about how the Tararua Ranges compared to back home.
It's quite different. The Tararua is obviously, everyone knows, pretty unique in terms of the plants, vegetation, and just, I guess, the exposure to both sides of the island, the ocean, the weather. In Canada, there's more things are higher. There's more alpine elements to it. There's more glaciers, snow, stuff like that. So it's different in that regard. But I would say the weather can be crazier in the Tararuas, just with the size of the island and the weather systems coming in from all directions. So and the high winds, that's something that you don't get. Yeah, the trip is one that probably a lot of people have heard about, and many people have aspired to do or have already done, called the Mangahuka Circuit. But we basically just did a smaller version of that loop, so not incorporating Mount Crawford and Waitawaiwai. Climbed up to Field Hut on a Friday evening after work, stayed the night, rat-infested hut at the time, maybe not anymore.
It's hit and miss, I think.
This would have been back in 2021. So then next morning, went up from there up to basically the turnoff to the Pen Creek track, down into Pen Creek, had a little break at the hut, and then up into the Pakahore Ridge track, and we followed that pretty much most of the day till we got to the turnoff to, I guess,
It's just after McIntosh.
Yeah, just after McIntosh. Yeah. So without looking at the map, and then continued on to Tuidi.
The Tararua Peaks test your timing. Up here, the weather can seem like it doesn't arrive from just anywhere. It just simply appears. One moment, you're tracing a ridgeline in bluebird calm. The next, you're swallowed by clouds so thick you can't see your boots. The nor'wester doesn't just blow over the peaks, it can also slam into them, ricocheting across the spines of rock. Out here, the forecast is less a prediction and more a polite suggestion. Back to Jonty and his trip.
So when I left Kime, the sun's still shining, it's beautiful, and then about 2:30 in the afternoon, I could see some clouds in the distance, and you think, well, they're quite a long way off, it's a big old range, it'll be fine. And then suddenly the clouds are coming towards you, and then I'm completely surrounded by clouds. And I actually had that very cool effect. I don't know if it's called a glory, which is when your shadow being cast onto the clouds below and are surrounded by this rainbow effect. And it's very kind of surreal lighting effect with the play of the sun and the clouds. So that was really cool. Apart from the fact I meant I was in the clouds. And then I was just coming up to Tararua Peaks, and I saw this sign saying I knew I was only about 2 kilometres away from the hut, but the sign said it was going to take 1.5 hours. And I thought, well, maybe it's going to get a bit more difficult, because that seems to be quite a long time to do 2K, 1.5 hours. And the contour lines were obviously quite close together, but I hadn't really appreciated quite how scary and difficult the next couple of hours would be.
The weather was coming in quite hard at the time. We were we must have hit like a small storm, nothing too crazy, but there was a bit of rain and quite a bit of wind. And so getting to Tuidi was a challenge in itself. But then, looking down from there, it's quite an exposed section of the route. Yeah. They have it chained, but you're basically kind of switchbacking down to the top of the ladder.
Well, there's a combination here. There's obviously the terrain, and then there's the weather, and the combination of the weather and the terrain. I just happened to hit literally the Tararua Peaks at the time when the wind really picked up, the cloud came in, it was cold, it was raining, and the path got increasingly narrow, the drop-offs get steeper, And then you're basically scrambling. And so I put my camera and my poles away. I moved my PLB to a more accessible place in my pack. And like I had food, I had the right gear. I had enough layers, but you just think, okay, I've got to get through this to get to the hut. Otherwise, that's the goal for today, is to survive and get through to the hut.
Of course.
I mean, probably quite a few people listening to this podcast will have done this section, and it is pretty scrambly. There are some chains in places. When you're scrambling on all fours, and I often just sat on my backside. I was like, I don't care about style or technique or anything. I just need to survive this experience.
You're in it at that point. There's not really any turning back, is there?
No, it's a bit of that hut fever. I knew that I was a couple of K away from the hut.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to go back down the ridge, back down to Kime, I guess could have been the option, but it's quite a long way to go. So that didn't really seem realistic either at the time. So,
nah.
and I knew it was only 1.5 kilometers. So I thought, well, I can get through this.
Footholds they're not even really there. And you're clinging onto this chain for dear life.
Yeah.
And there's just hundreds of meters below you.
Yeah, because it switches back, right? You're kind of taking these lines of chain to get to the actual ladder. And then to get onto the ladder when you're already in a precarious situation is also another consideration.
The ladder itself, connecting the craggy peaks of Tunui and Tuiti, provides relief from the difficult sections either side. However, being long and almost fully vertical, it's also an obstacle. When you're there, you're really in it. It's one which gives many trampers pause for thought.
So yeah, double rung, 70 rungs that we counted, and about 25 meters. So it's quite a distance. It's a sphincter loosened situation. Looking down it.
In some ways it was better because I couldn't see, the cloud was so thick that I couldn't see the bottom of the ladder. So I was just descending this ladder into the unknown. But I couldn't see how far I would fall if I fell.
And then even below that, the valley goes down further. So it's not even just the drop of the ladder, it's below that. If you were to take a fall or something, it'd be quite bad.
I actually felt safer on the ladder because it was solid and I could hold on to it. It wasn't bloody holding onto tussock and trying to fall off the side of the mountain. But it was very cold on the cold metal. I mean, amazingly, I remember reading that before the ladder, they just had a rope and people just had to kind of abseil down the rope.
Yeah. And I guess a little bit of a history about the ladder. So it was a wire cable. So from 1928, it was a wire cable, and then this was turned into a chain ladder. So I'm not sure the dates on that, but it's turned into a chain ladder or replaced by a chain ladder. And then in 2002, Doc put in the galvanized steel ladder that we know today as the ladder in the wilderness.
What I really wanted to do was just stop and have a rest in the breather, and there hadn't been any points along that way where I felt comfortable just to sit down. And the only place I found was at the bottom of the ladder. There was like 2 foot of space where I could just sit down, I could put some more layers on, I could have some food, I could have some water, I could try and warm up my hands, I could just try and get my breathing under control and just rationally think this through. I just need to focus. I have to say at this point it was starting to get dark, because it's a short day in June. So I had the rain and the cloud and the cold, and it's getting dark. And I thought that was the worst over with the ladder. And then that illusion was shattered a few more meters along the track when the chains appeared again. You're like, well, the chains are good because there's something to hold on to, but equally the fact there are chains there suggests the terrain is pretty terrifying. By that point, I'd been tramping for 10 hours from Alpha. So I was pretty tired, and I've never been so relieved to see the toilet, because the white toilet, Mangahaka hut, I had my head torch on, and it suddenly appeared out of the gloom at 6 o'clock in the evening, and I was like, thank God, right, that is over.
And then the hut, Mangahaka hut is something beautiful as well, pretty new in the grand scheme of things, and, a tarn right in front of it, and it's probably the one spot, maybe the best spot in the Tararua, is to get like a sunset on one side and sunset and sunrise on the other, and you can see both on a good night and good morning. It's just it's magical.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, next, so we got there on Saturday evening. weather wasn't too good. And then we're like, another 2 days to finish the bigger loop to Crawford and Waiawaiwa and back to Otaki. So we're like, probably not the best way if it's a shorter, long weekend. So we didn't know what we were going to get the next morning. So, but the next morning was beautiful. So we're like, why don't we go back and actually see the ladder and the route we did in clear weather.
Nice.
In beautiful sunshine. So we did that, and then we got to do the rest of the Tararua's peaks, or the ridge that continues on from it towards Kime. Had lunch at Kime, and then right down. So that was a big day. So we probably got back like at 7 or something on that Sunday. So it was a 3-day trip.
Jonty took the steep route out via Constantina Knob down to Neil Forks and on to Cone Ridge, and had a slightly more eventful trip out.
Next, they headed down to Neil Forks Hut. So that's like 1,300 metres down. And so that's pretty hard on the knees. And had a little bit of a poke around the hut. And then I had to go 1,000 metres up to Cone. And there was quite a lot of windfall on the way. So that was quite a big climb. But I remember the ridge along that way, I guess Cone Ridge, was like flat and fast and beautiful and really enjoyable kind of section. Coming out of the bush at Cone, you've got this kind of bog, kind of tussocky kind of landscape, which was pretty cool. But that was probably the strongest winds I'd ever come across. And I literally had to get into a crouch crab-like stance with full use of both of my poles to make it to the cross to the bush, safety of the bush. And I remember my pack cover, because it was a bit kind of wet still at that point, my pack cover basically turned into like a parachute and was pulling me with the wind. So I'm trying to like fight against this pack cover parachute with the poles, and I could see, I'm like, I just need to go 50 metres. I just need to get 50 metres to the bush. And it was and I'm going to get battered left and right and just like dived into the bush to get out of the wind.
Yeah, wow.
It was quite all in all. And then there's another long descent from that going down to Cone Hut. And I think I was running a bit short of water by this point. I was like, well, yeah, I can fill up at the hut. So I fill up my water bottle at Cone Hut, and then I go to drink it, and I'm like, there's something moving in here. Oh God. My water bottle's full of tadpoles. There was tadpoles in the tank at Cone.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's a frequent occurrence, but
probably is.
Whether they're actually tadpoles or frogs, but there was certainly something tadpole-like swimming in the water, and I was like, well, I need some water. I don't want to drink. What am I going to do now? I think I'd probably chuck some tablets in it and maybe just try to drink the bit of water at the top, which didn't have the tadpoles in, and then at the first kind of available time, kick up some more water.
I was filling up from a creek once, I think in the wider Tararua Forks, and I was lucky enough. I double checked my water bottle that I was filling up from because it had a crayfish in it.
In the water,
it was probably about the size of your thumbnail.
Oh, it's a small crayfish.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was just a freshwater crayfish. But I realised, of course, there's obviously little invertebrates and all sorts in the waterways. So just from that little experience, I mean, I probably don't want to ingest the crayfish because you never know what sort of parasites it might have or anything like that. So since then, I always just double check anything that I'm filling up.
Good idea. The plan was to camp out or to spend the night at Tutawai Hut, which I got to about 4 p.m. And so I thought, well, actually, I had another 14k back. And I mean, the honest reason was I missed the hut because I think there's a turn off to the hut off the track.
There is.
And I'd probably gone 20 minutes down the track past the hut. And then before I realised, and I was like, well, am I going to walk back to the hut? I'm just shattered. I'm just over this. And I looked at the map and I think, I've got 14k to go, which is probably another. I mean, I'd already been hiking for 7 hours by that point, but I thought, well, 14k, I'm going fast. It's flat. I should have spent the night there, and I could have walked out the next day, and I could have driven back in daytime. But I was just I was tired. I was just kind of a bit over it by that point, and I thought, okay, I just want to sleep in a better bed tonight. And so I thought, well, I've got 14k to go. That's probably maybe 3 hours walking because it's flat along by the river there. I probably got 2 more hours of daylight, and I've got head torch and gear with me. But I was feeling kind of surprisingly fresh by that point, so I thought I'll just keep pushing on. Now the problem is, I find the orange triangles are not luminescent or reflective.
Yeah.
So they actually can be quite hard to find in the dark, I found.
Yeah.
And the track there is not... Well, I found in a slightly panicked state in the dark, it wasn't entirely clear. There's a number of times where I must have just shot off the track, and then you're like, oh, I haven't seen Orange Triangle for a while, got to get back onto it, and then you disappear off again another time. I don't know if that's that section in particular, or whether just that's the Tararuas all over.
I can totally understand how that would happen, especially in the dark.
So I finally got out to the car park at 8:30 in the evening. So that was another 10-hour day. And then I drove home, which, that was probably the riskiest thing I did on the whole trip in some ways, because I'm like trying to stay awake. I'm like, I've just got to stay awake. I've got 45 minutes. I was very focused on that, and then just getting home and then just collapsing and going to bed. So it was a classic Tararua tramp. That was my feeling about it. In retrospect, at the time, I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
With all that said, I just had to ask these two seasoned trappers, once and for all, how did the Tararua Peaks compare to their other experiences? I mean, you were saying that prior to doing that trip, your experience was doing the sort of Holdsworth Jumbo circuit.
In the Tararuas, yeah.
Did that, the one that you've just talked about, feel like a bit of more of a baptism by fire introduction to the Tararua Ranges in that regard?
Much more so. Then I was like, now I understand the reputation of the Tararuas.
Is there anywhere else in the Tararua Ranges where you've done anything that you've gone, holy shit, this is almost like that time I was doing the ladder on the Tararua Peaks?
I mean, the Broken Axe Pinnacles is also a pretty epic trip.
Yeah.
So I think those two are probably my top two. If I was going to rank top two, those would be them.
I've done a lot of tramping around New Zealand, and I've never come across anything like that section in the Tararuas for just exposure risk. I mean, Cascade Saddle is got a lot of exposure risk, but it's like a known thing. Every time you read about Cascade Saddle, it's got danger. Lots of people have died here. I hadn't picked up on that around the Tararua Peaks.
Maybe that's just one of the small romantic things that I love about the Tararua Ranges is there's always that heightened risk with some of the areas. It's probably pretty understated in the rest of conventional tramping in New Zealand. And so the reason why I have this podcast is to celebrate a lot of that sort of stuff.
I love how you say it's the romantic. I just think it is like terrifying, and I don't want to do any more of it. And you're like, have these romantic visions of clinging off ladders.
Thanks so much again to Jonty and Travis. And if you've enjoyed Jonty's storytelling and want to see photos of his trip, please check out his blog, jontystravels.com. We'll put it in the show notes for you. He also has a great podcast called The Tramping Life, which I have actually been on.
Oh, we've been walking miles and now we'll take a break. And Jerry's got his boots up, so we'll sit a while. Don't you go away.
Right. Thanks again to Jonty and Travis. It's awesome to have people's experiences on here. So if you've got a pretty awesome story or something unique that you'd love to share with us on the podcast, just get in touch with us at tararua.fever@gmail.com or message us privately on the Facebook page. Hopefully we're leaving links in the show notes these days.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great to hear from you.
Yeah. All right, team, it's time for Knob of the Week, the segment where we hand the mic over to the man who has conquered more peaks on Google Earth than in real life, Alan. Each week he brings us a knob from somewhere in the Tararua Ranges and tells us why it deserves its moment in the sun. So, Al, what have you got in store for us today?
Hello. I have a very special knob for you this week, Jerry. I've had to do some translating in Tereo, which I'm trying to learn a little bit of. And Tiro knob is the knob of the week. This is knob of the week, so to speak. Kent, can you tell me what Tiro means? in English?
Oh, I'm ashamed to say I can't.
It means to inspect, oversee, look at, or observe. So, in my rough translation, that means tira tira knobs means look at knob, which I thought was funny. So that's why this knob is knob of this week. A very valid reason, of course. It's part of the Judd Ridge and on the way to Tabletop, apparently. So that's where the Tira Tira knob is. Can you have a guess at how high in the air it is, guys?
Oh, 1175.
Right, Jerry.
He knows.
Has he just Googled it?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Oh no.
Go on, Jerry. Yeah, have a wild guess then.
900 meters.
It's actually 855 meters. So there you go.
There we go.
All right. So Jerry, put your screen down, and can you guess where the closest hut is to Tira Tira Knob?
Kintos,
You take this, Jerry. You know this.
Kaim Hut.
There we go.
Well, I've got Field Hut, which is apparently just a stone's throw away.
Ah, okay.
It would be, yeah.
I was way overconfident about that one. Of
Yeah.
course it will be.
Well, he's got that one wrong. Well, never mind. Then, yes, how many are there in New Zealand? How many Tira Tira Hut knobs are there?
Ooh.
Oof.
I'm going to go 1 on this one.
Jerry?
I'll go 3.
Yeah, it's the one and only. It's the only one there is. There is a point somewhere in Marlborough, a Tira Tira point as well. Look at point. Look at knob. So we're at look at knob. Have you ever visited? And either of you ever been to Tira Tira Knob near Field Hut, near the tabletop?
I don't think I've never been to Kime, so I won't have.
Right. You've been to Judd Ridge, wherever that is.
I'm sure you must.
How much further past Field Hut do you reckon it is, Jerry?
Not far.
It's not far at all.
We've definitely pushed on past Field just when we got to the hut early.
Yeah. So you probably have been up it.
Yeah.
So it's just not a very memorable knob. Like you don't even remember that you've been on it.
No.
Like, is that what you're saying? No, that is disappointing. Disappointing. Yeah, part of the Field's track. It looks like it's 11 meters lower down than Field Hut, and it looks close to me.
I would have been there.
So yeah, it's just obviously not a very noticeable knob,
Yep.
which is sad times for this particular one. So you I guess you've got no fond memories, and you don't really want to revisit it, do you? Like those are my next 2 questions, but if you can't even remember you've been there,
I'm keen to revisit it in order to get to Kime. So yeah.
right? Okay.
Just passing
All right.
through.
That's nice. All right. Well, next time I'm passing through, I'll sort of give them your regards at Tira Tira Knob. I'm sure I'll be there pretty soon. Right. Yes. So that's pretty much knob of the week there for you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to flow on into know your knobs, but firstly, I just wanted to sort of mention, Jerry, I was down in Island Bay this week earlier on. Just gave it your regards as usual. And you know that bit where you're waiting for a prescription and you like it's too long to just kind of stare at the people behind the till, like it's 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So I left and I walked over the road, went to Bluebird, ordered myself a coffee, right? And this guy behind me as I'm waiting, he says, "Oh, I just heard you order that coffee. Are you the guy from Tararua Fever?" And I was like, "Oh, yes. Yeah, I am actually, yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I've got a story for you about that Nick Goodall," right? He said this to me, right? And as I'm there, I'm just, all right, I'll take on his story. I'm not going to say it's fact, but this is what I got told, right? So he says he's got too many kids, that Nick, hasn't he? Too many, like, no one knows how many he's actually got, right? And he says, if you check the names, right, it's Penelope, Oscar, Debbie, Carl, Alice, and Stanley. I'm going, he says, the first letters, they spell out podcast. Like, so that's what Nick Goodall's been doing, is collecting children so he can have the initials podcast for his children. Now, he then tapped his nose and walked away and said, you know, the more you know, and then left, right? I don't even know his name, this guy, but he just disappeared. But that's just what I heard about Nick Goodall. So,
well, he does love his podcasts, and
yeah. So apparently he's on his way to 7 kids. I don't know how many he's got. You don't know, do you, Jerry? Like no one really knows.
Yeah.
Does Nick know? I don't think anyone knows. Anyway, yes, know your knobs. This is Know Your Knobs. Deceptively hard. So, I've got 3 questions for you. I'm going to, they're all knob related.
Right.
Okay. So, 3 knobs in the Tararua Ranges. I want you to organise them from highest to lowest in altitude.
Okay.
Right? We've got angle knob, junction knob, and Richard knob. Or Richard's knob. Which is highest, which is middle, which is lowest?
Kintos.
I'm going Angle, Richards, Junction. Highest to lowest.
Jerry? Don't cheat.
No, I'm not cheating. I'm pretty sure. Well, junction knobs. We were just near at Waiwai not long ago.
Yeah.
Kintos.
Low.
That's quite high.
Oh, is that high?
Well, no, it's on the ridgeline. It's basically when you get
okay. Yeah.
an angle knob. Is that near there as well? I'm going to go junction being the highest. I reckon that's about 11 or 1200.
I've cooked this.
Okay, I'm going to go junction, angle, Richard.
Well, you're both wrong, but at least Kent got angle as being the tallest. So I'm going to give Kent the point for that one.
Yeah.
It goes angle, then junction, then Richards.
Wow.
Which doesn't even make it to 1,000 Richards. It's a bit pathetic, really, but never mind. Right, now there's 3 huts on the Tararua Ranges. I want you to arrange them from the biggest capacity to the smallest capacity for the hut. Right, we've got Jumbo, Roaring Stag, and Powell.
Powell would be the most capacity, wouldn't it?
Pal, Roaring Stag, then Jumbo would be my...
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
You both agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're both wrong. It goes Powell, then Jumbo, and then Roaring Stag, which is only 12 apparently, according to the website.
Wow. I don't remember Jumbo feeling...
I mean, Jumbo sounds like it should be massive, but there we are.
I thought Roaring Stag was probably bigger than Jumbo.
Well, turns out not. Turns out not.
Sorry.
All right. Third one. I've got 3 knobs that you can buy from Bunnings. I want you to arrange them into the most expensive to the least expensive. Okay. We've got the iconic matte black privacy knob. That's one. The Sylvan top knob, cabinet knob white. Or the iconic dummy trim knob stainless. Which is the most expensive? Which is the least expensive?
I reckon stainless will be most expensive.
Couldn't agree with you more, Jerry.
Right, so you've gone for number 3 is the top one. Yeah, okay.
Matte black,
Yeah, matte black.
then white.
Yeah, nice one.
And then the white is last, right. Okay, well, you're both wrong again because the privacy knob there includes a locking system. So that one is 1675. 1675, that one. Next is the stainless 545 for that one, and then 475 for the top knob, cabinet knob white. You lot do not know your knobs.
No.
That's what I've said today. You've done poorly there.
Yeah.
I expect some sort of revision before next time.
Yeah.
Hey, Al. This is the last knob of the week for the year.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for all the feedback, all the positive feedback. And yeah, it's been a journey, hasn't it, since we went on that trip to you took me into the wilderness for the first time.
We went up the Tatanika River. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say ever since you managed to sort of talk about Rocky Knob with the guy from the Walking Society without any snigger, I knew that I had to do something. I just felt it deep within here that I needed to change things around here. And I think over the year, the culture I'm happier with it now. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Al. I probably did need a bit of lightening up in some areas.
I think we can take the monthly doc knob of the week as a positive endorsement as well, Alan.
Yeah, they stole our idea.
Yeah. And Mitre 10, reach out if you want to sponsor knob of the week.
Yeah, that would be knob of the week with Mitre 10. I'm into it. Yeah. I'm sure they're listening.
I spend so much money this year. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Wonderful.
Do you know, Al does get me, like, when he's like, and I went into the Bluebell, and there was this guy who recognized me from Tararua Fever, and I'm just like, oh my God, and then I'm like, oh.
He got me again. He got me. I was like, thought this was legit the whole way through until he named the kids, and I was like, hang on.
Yeah, he's got me before. All right, Kintos, what have we got next?
I think we've got the inaugural, is that the right word? The inaugural Kent's Cooking Corner. I will be sharing my signature dish, which was first developed and perfected in Jumbo Hut on my baby shower tramp. Pork belly miso ramen. Kent's Cooking Corner. Picture a cold, windswept, foggy Jumbo. My original plan was miso udon broth with some dried mushrooms.
Yeah.
But as Jerry, I think we mentioned before, I tend to take 2 to 4 packs of Snicks pork scratchings per tramp. And we were feeding about 6 of us from memory.
Yeah, the problem was 6 of us, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was probably started off with 4 to 6 cups of water in a billy. I probably spread across a couple of billies, to be honest. And depending on how you like your miso, however many tablespoons you see fit. But we would have had, I don't know, 3 to 4 in each of those billies. Simmered that away, and then I thought, this pork scratchings just had the liquid pulled out of it. Let's put the liquid back in, and we might end up with some soft gelatinous pork belly. So I turned the miso off, put a bag of scratchings in each one, put the lid on, and let it rehydrate for 45 minutes. And we ended up with beautiful, plump lumps of pork belly. So then I relit the gas cookers, added in some dehydrated mushrooms.
Lovely.
And then in the final a couple of minutes, I can't even remember how long you need. They don't need long as those organic udon noodles, and just pop those back in to rehydrate. And we had a wonderful miso pork belly broth with dried mushrooms, which went down very well amongst the trampers.
It was amazing. It was really good. I mean, I always eat well with you, Kintos. I said it in the last step that even when I was living with you at home, when we were flatting, it was fantastic.
Yes, yeah. No, we always love to kind of try and create something out of. It wasn't nothing, they were nice ingredients, but it was just nice to pull them all together. And the good thing about that was it was just like light. I mean, miso was the heaviest component, obviously. Yeah. But other than that, it's a pretty light dinner. You can kind of add whatever dehydrated veg you want to that. But yeah, wonderful. And also I'd like to thank the lovely Willow Milligan for his comms on our recent request for content. Willow's go-to, which I have also dabbled in plenty of, is the backcrunchy meal. Is his signature is the MKR curry with fresh garlic and ginger and added red dry lentils. Quick to make, and 1 pack goes good for 2 nights at least. So thank you for sharing that, Willow. I always like the little soup up of the staple backcountry. Adding a little bit of ginger and a bit of garlic goes a long way.
We've done the MKRs a few times, eh?
Absolutely.
And they're really good because they're quite practical. You can heat them up in their packet and then pour them out. It's yeah, and they're delicious.
I discovered them tramping, and then they actually made their way into my university dinner menu. Yeah,
because
they were actually quite tasty and affordable. So yeah.
In Wellington, I always struggled to find them in the supermarket, and I think you had to look in the international section.
Yeah, international section, or if you go to the place that I found the most selection of, like dozens actually of different types, was there's a spice shop in Kilburnie opposite the Coburn Church.
Oh, okay.
On the intersection of I don't know the street names, but if you were like standing in the Pack and Save car park looking at the front of the building, if you just go to the footpath on your right and walk down that footpath on the right, you'll come across the spice shop. And there's just dozens of different curry options. Some of them MKR, but various other ones.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you for that, and I will hopefully hear from a few of you to share some of your ideas, and we can kind of give them a go, and I will conjure up something for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the ideas rolling in. If you're rolling out for summer, we'll definitely get referencing them in the new year, Baz?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Boom.
I'm hungry.
Kentos, you will remember in the last episode we had a quiz question giveaway.
Yes.
It was in the spirit of the sort of festive season towards Halloween, but I don't like saying Halloween.
Yeah.
But just, that sort of Day of the Dead sort of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do the draw today.
We do?
Yep.
Exciting.
We've got the website that does the wheel turny thing, and it makes the big noise, and then it goes, then. So, but just to remind those who were wondering what the quiz question was, it is, my name is Basil Blatchford. I once roamed the main Tararua Range. I now live at 1,371 metres, above the mist. I was a hunter before the Rangers claimed me, and if my spirit were to haunt a hut, it would be the one whose second version was built in my honour. So where do I rest, and what now marks my final resting place?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to that is, of course, did you know the answer?
I didn't know the answer until I saw people answering. Tarn Ridge.
That's right. His grave is on the side of the track.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's as you're coming from a Ret Hut to Tarn Ridge Hut.
Yep.
So you go over Wahine Pinnacles, and it's just not far before. So I thought that was quite a fitting quiz question.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Basil. But we do now need to do the draw. So thank you for all those who partook.
Yep.
I do like running these. And the winner is going to receive a $50 Earthsea Sky voucher.
Awesome.
From the lovely people from Earthsea Sky around the corner from my work. I've gotten to know them quite well. They're really cool. New Zealand brand.
Lovely.
Really, really good quality stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go, Baz.
Exciting.
Okay, here we go. And it is Blair Peterson. Congratulations, Blair.
Blair Peterson.
Thanks very much for messaging in. Please email us, you keep up the good work. So it was good to know that some people are appreciating this ridiculous podcast. Blair, we'll be in touch via email, and we'll get your postal address and send out the voucher. And I can also email it through electronically.
Well done, Blair. Awesome. Jerry, one of the things I've been reflecting on, over the last few tramps, it's well overdue that I try and actually contribute and give back to the various volunteer organisations that do exist within the Tararua Ranges, but really across the backcountry throughout Aotearoa. Obviously there's various examples. We recently went out to Waitawaiwai. The track had been cleared. The hut was immaculate. These things don't happen by magic. So is there any kind of specific groups that you want to shout out in this final episode for the year?
Yeah, no, thanks. I've got a collection of notes to mention, I guess.
Cool.
Touching on those sort of volunteers. I've got two. First of all, is a general administrative shout out to the people who run the Tararua Facebook forum. I'm starting to realise that if Finn was to make another sketch about some of the common words that I use, it'll be like Tararua Facebook forum, Tararua Facebook forum, Facebook forum, Facebook forum. But it really is a great source of information for people to get together and talk about this sort of stuff. It's cool. I'm always trying to keep an eye on it. And then, because I was scrolling it not long ago, I saw that the Greater Wellington Backcountry Network had done, they do amazing work, I think, Kentos, in terms of a lot of the maintenance in general on the Tararua Ranges, whether it's track maintenance, whether it's hut maintenance, just identifying things all the time to fix. And I saw that they'd done a recent fly-in to Maungahuka and Dorset Ridge Hut, and just to give them a big spruce up. Both, just probably quite used, especially Maungahuka. So just awesome work. I think there's a bit of mold on the mattresses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of the key figures on there is Derek Field, a bit of Tararua royalty there, I think. So yeah, awesome to see him or wrangling troops, I think. Yeah, hopefully we get an appearance from him on the pod sometime soon.
Yes, yeah. Just some more volunteer hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There were two other things, Baz.
Absolutely. As we kind of hoped for in our last Scroggin episode, Otaki Forks is now open, which is amazing, and just in time for summer, Christmas holidays. So long may that road stay solid and robust so we can all enjoy the forks again. So that's really exciting, and thanks to Kapiti Coast District Council and contractors involved for getting that done. That's awesome.
Yeah, great work.
And we also hear that there is some bookable campsites now that have been released. Obviously, we've talked about bookable huts that have become, or new bookable huts that have been added to the network or brought into the bookable network. So these are, by the looks of it, all located in the kind of Wairarapa side of the ranges.
Yeah.
So we've got Bucks Road campsite, Corner Creek campsite, Holdsworth campsite, lovely spot, Kitty Whakapapa campsite, Tangarua Pinnacles campsite, and Waiohine Gorge campsite, which is also a wonderful spot.
Yeah, I love the Waiohine.
So
from my understanding, Kentos, they were doing it nationwide. Doc was looking at they updated a whole range of campsites and huts that are now bookable. And I think there's this tendency to eye roll and go, oh, for goodness sake. But I actually do think that, these places still need maintaining. If you don't want to camp at a campsite, go 10 minutes up a river and find somewhere to camp. You can do it for free. Like it's that simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
totally. And I mean, I'm not sure if you want to keep the podcast apolitical, which you can cut this if you want to, but when you have a government that's not funding,
that's right,
a very crucial department, then, they have to make their money elsewhere to keep this alive. So I'm not too against it. They're probably, Docket is doing what needs to be done to have those things there. So that's my stance. But as you said, Jerry, you can get creative if you don't want to do that.
Well, that's right. I do want to keep it apolitical, but I did hear someone comment the other day that it's public land. I'm going to camp where I like, and I was like, well, just don't camp at a bookable campground, and you'll be fine. Yeah, just go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And non-sponsored content here, open to sponsorship from this provider for sure. But I've heard there's now a sauna set up on somewhere on the Waiohine Road going into the gorge, and they have a cold, so obviously sauna, but then they have it set by the river, and you have a cold plunge into the river. Wow. So I mean, if you could make Friday night sauna camp into tramping, sounds pretty good.
Very vampy.
Yeah,
I'm not against the idea. So
no. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I think those are noteworthy things to mention. Yeah, and just thanks to everyone who's sent us correspondence this year. Again, Baz, this was a crazy thing to do. Why did I ever start a podcast? But I actually really enjoy doing it. And the more I get just positive feedback from people, it feels good that people appreciate it. So I'll just keep going.
Absolutely. Thank you, to all the contributors, and thank you to Jerry. And as you say, really nice to hear from people who are listening and hearing their spins on certain things. And really excited, really looking forward to the next year. I think we've got some exciting things in the pipeline.
Yes. One thing that I'm looking at right now is a photo competition. And this idea came from when I received my FMC magazine in the post the other day, and that they've got their ones now released, I think. And so as we head into summer, and people going away. And I don't necessarily want to limit it to the Tararua Ranges. I think if you're going anywhere out in the great wild wilderness, if you take a cool photo and you want to send it in, please do. I'm trying to organise a couple of things, a couple of people to be the judges, and basically the time frame, but maybe a couple months into the new year. Yeah. But we'll announce it all properly if we do get that far in the next scrog.
Yeah, we will. So snap away, and never fear, it won't be me and Jerry just randomly choosing.
No.
We will get some folk that are somewhat informed to make that decision, and the prize is yet to be sourced or announced. So watch the space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but thanks for a cool year, Baz. I mean, I know you and I will do one more, but it'll be a scroggin. It'll be probably a shorter one. But
Yes,
but this is the last full episode, so
it is.
it feels festive. It feels like a milestone. I've done 12 of these now.
That's crazy. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably somewhat obligated to have gone on a tramp really early into the new year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good. Keep us honest.
Yeah, absolutely. To listeners, to wrap things up, obviously if you're going out anytime soon, be safe. Enjoy it. It's fantastic. We love the Tararua Ranges. I've got the fever real bad. I always wish I was back there. I've even been having dreams of tramping the Tararua Ranges lately. I'm not even joking. I've been having dreams of it.
Totally. And don't forget your sun hat and your sunscreen. Summer tramping. Important safety.
Absolutely. All right, we'll leave it there, Baz. Thanks very much. And we'll see you on the next one.
Can't wait.
Ka kite.
Kia kite.
Ho, 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 ho. Well, that's the last present delivered. Alf HQ, come in. Alf HQ, do you read?
Reading you loud and clear, Santa. Let's get you home.
Set a course for the North Pole. But why don't you swing us over the Tararua Ranges, eh? Nothing like a moonlit view on those tops to end the shift.
Routing via Tararua Ranges. Also, Santa, hydration reminder. You have consumed 27 litres of milk.
Yeah, all right. And cue up the latest episode of Tararua Fever for me, would you? I have some catching up to do, and I hear the latest one's quite a banger.
Loud and clear, Santa. Playing Tararua Fever, episode 11. Kia ora, Santa. Everything tracking sweet up there? Forecast in that the winds are looking a bit spicy over the ranges.
No, we're fine, mate. Little breeze never... Okay, that's more than a breeze. What's this nor'wester doing? This wasn't on the flight plan, was it?
I just rolled in uninvited, Santa. Classic Tararua. Maybe keep both hands on the reins, eh?
Oh, come on, boys. Hold on, reindeer. Alf HQ, do you copy?
Copy, Santa. You've gone off grid. We've got you on Dorset Ridge.
Dorset Ridge? You've got to be kidding me. Couldn't have dropped me at Power Hut like a normal person. It's meant to be a great Christmas party there tonight.
Now, Santa, you want to activate the EPLB. That is your Elf PLB.
Already on it?
Good on ya, Santa. Stay put. The rescue elves are en route.
Ugh, next year I'm taking the train. You might have just got there just in time.
Just in time.
Oh, come here, buddy. You lovely man. Oh, still recording.